Welcome. Let's write an equation in a so-called real-life situation. Here is a word problem, or an application problem, as we'll call it in math. And what we're going to do is specifically this. We're going to write an equation. In fact, the situation is Deanna and Pietra walk around the lake. We're going to be using the variable p, representing the miles that Pietra walked, and the capital T for the total number of miles for both of them. So what we're going to need to do is write an equation that represents the total number of miles. And then we're going to answer these two questions. If Pietra walked 9 miles, how many did Deanna? If she walked 11, how many did both walk? All right, so let's come back and take a look at this situation. Okay, so we have Deanna and Pietra, and we already know we'll use a P for Pietra. They go for walks a few times a week, and here is the key thinking. Last week, Deanna walked 7 miles more than Pietra. So let's think about what that means. Okay, we can say on a very basic, simple level that P plus, we'll use a lowercase d for her, for the other one, equals total. Since they did a lowercase p here, we'll use the lowercase d. So the two of them together is going to equal the total. Yeah, that makes sense, of course. But we know that this person walked more. So Deanna walked 7 more than Pietra. So what we need to figure out, does that mean it's something plus 7? Which one is it plus 7? Well, there's an easy way. You immediately think, well, is it going to be that Pietra's is equal to Deanna's plus 7? Or is it Deanna's is equal to Pietra's plus 7? So what we want to do is analyze and make sure which way it is. Or is it a minus 7? Well, it doesn't look like it. It says more, so that means it's going to be a plus. So I'm going to do a little chart here. So Deanna's, Pietra's. So what this is saying is Deanna walked 7 miles more. Maybe what I should do is put the P over here. So that means if Pietra walked 1 mile, Deanna walked 8. Pietra was 2 miles, then this is 9. 3 miles, this is 10. So what it is it's this amount plus 7. So come up here, that means we'll do plus 7. So that means the one that we actually want to use is where it's D equals P plus 7. Okay, now take this overall basic one. We have Pietra's plus Deanna's is equal to the total. Now what we also know is that instead of the D, we can put Pietra plus 7. Now usually we put that in parentheses. In this case, because there's nothing multiplying to it, I'll take the parentheses out. I didn't need to do it anyway, I just did it just to show everyone, which tells us that, or shows that this is first together, but then it doesn't need to be afterwards. And then we can put the p's together, and what we have is an equation. So usually we do put the result on the left side. So to get the total, we would do double whatever Pietra's amount was plus 7. Okay. So now let's take a look. So that's the equation for A. That back there. And okay. Now coming back up here, what we just did was the equation that represents the total number of miles. That one's done. If Pietra walked 9 miles during the week, how many miles did Deanna walk? Well, that one's with back to here. That's back to this one. So the B answer was, let's come back. Pietra walked 9. How many Deanna walked? Deanna equals 9 plus 7, because that's the P. Okay, so that's 16. Okay, and I'll put that underneath this one. B is 16 miles. So that second question only used this basic simple equation. The third question is where we're based on the walking together. So if Pietro walked 11 miles, how many did the two walk together? And for that, we're going to use, so for C, we'll use the total is equal to 2p plus 7. T is equal to 2 times 11 plus 7, because it's what it says here. Pietro walked 11, and we want to know how much did they walk together. So that's 22 plus 7, that's a 29. So C is 29 miles together. So what this problem shows is that you can take information like that. You can make an equation from some part of it, or actually usually you can make two equations, and then sometimes you can combine them to make a different equation. All it really is taking the information that's given to you. I will state that one part of this, or another way, it's not worded in here, but a foundational part of this is setting it up so that one of the variables can be written in terms of the other variable. That's what we did here. We found a way to make it so that one of the variables could be rewritten using only the other variable and maybe some numbers. So that way we could end up replacing it. And that's a major part of this type of a question, and probably the major lesson in this section, is that you can rewrite and place and make an equation where one variable is in terms of another variable. So we didn't need the D. Once we could replace the D with something about P, then we don't need to use the D anymore, and we have just one variable to work with in the equation. So that means we're able to use it to solve something like we did here in the C part. I hope that's helpful. Thank you for watching and listening.